All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit on a Sunday morning. I hope you guys had a good weekend. We got a lot of things we're going to talk about this morning. And we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. See, I'm going to say what a lot of other podcasters haven't said yet, but should say. Before the election outcome, mainstream media was directly supporting Kamala Harris actively. It was her own media machine. They censored podcasters and streamers and bloggers. They demonetized some of them. The censorship was through the roof, and they still lost. They bought out LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey, Samuel Jackson, D.L. Hughley, Roland Martin, and all the other Boule Shields. They talked about the Divine Nine and uh, all these so-called liberal pundits came out talking. I mean, and they were very disrespectful. They were very disrespectful. They were allowed by mainstream media to be disrespectful. They were talking about misinformation and disinformation. They were saying Trump was Hitler. They were saying Trump supporters were Nazis. They were saying we were all fascists. They were saying we were stupid and crazy, misogynists, women haters. They said everything. They threw the whole kitchen sink at us, and they still lost. 83% of the country voted for Trump. 13% of the country voted for Kamala Harris. And out of that 13% that voted for Kamala Harris, it was mostly black women. Not saying nothing bad against you sisters, but they've been playing in your face for so long that they have you delusional. They told you that you were the backbone of the Democratic Party. They told you you were the backbone of the black community. Well, I don't know about that, because I grew up living in the black community my whole life. My father retired from Ford. My grandfather retired from General Motors. They stayed married to their wives. We had a nuclear family. So when you say that the black woman is the backbone of our community, no, she's the backbone of single parenthood. And the Democratic Party, through their policies and aims to destroy the nuclear family, they created that. They incentivized breaking up the families. So if she didn't have a husband and had 2 or 3 kids by somebody else, she had to be the backbone of that house. She had to be the backbone for her own responsibilities, for the children she bore. So you created this myth that incentivized the division in our community and in our homes. And you have these radical feminists who bought into it. They bought into it to the point where they really thought and think in their mind that they can do better with men of the world, with the Putins and the Pings and Ayatollahs who don't respect women at all in their country. But they incentivize you to disrespect your men and your protectors, and you bought into it. They running for the hills now. They weaponized the judicial system against Trump. It didn't work. There were several attempts on his life. It didn't work. You lost. And as disrespectful as you were to conservatives, the only reason they didn't really come out against you and get as vile as you were on the left is because we knew mainstream media was on some censorship. We knew we didn't want to stoke the fires of hatred and racism and the race baiting that you was doing. So we stood down and we let you say things unchallenged. So now that you lost, you still won't stop. The Democrats, you will never learn. That's why your party is through. You will never learn. You are through. There's no way you will ever win another election for the presidency in about at least another 12 to 15 years before you restructure that party. It's full of boulets. LGBTQ community, stars, Diddy types. We know who you are. You're exposed. You're also scared of the Epstein list and whose name's going to come out with this. You're also scared of investigations because you did it first. Everything that you accused Donald Trump of, you did. And you lost. The American people, 83% voted you guys out. 20% of black men walked away from the Democratic Party. Latino men never even embraced it. White women, you knew they was going to vote with their man. But what you really want to say is that the American people have rejected your liberalism. And now they come out with threats. You got Letitia James. She's talking as if New York City and New York State is ready to go up against the whole country. New York, California, and Boston. The radical left, rainbow cities of the world. Now, they banding together like they're conceding from the union. They still can't read the room. You lost the Senate and the presidency. And Letitia James, most of your police officers, National Guard, fire department, and other men voted for Trump. So do you think they're going to let you lead them off a cliff of treason, sedition, and backwards thinking? What you're doing is you're going down and you're trying to take as many people with you as you can. You had pastors like Jamal Bryant and T.D. Jakes from the pulpit letting the policies of late term termination be espoused under women's rights of their body. When all along is late term termination of pregnancy, gender reassignment of children, open borders, tampons in the boys' bathroom. And the pastors like Jamal Bryant and T.D. Jakes, they were with that because they're prosperity pimps. They're not standing on the word. So just like the Democratic Party is on its way out, so is you backward, bootleg, chicken head, Negro preachers who attempted to sell your people out to be closer to political power. Treasonous. But you still can't read the room. And you look at what they're saying, it's ridiculous. You can see that party is under some type of spell or some type of delusional thinking. But I'm not going to talk your ear off. Let's get into the clips. It's for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act for commentary and educational purposes. Listen to Letitia James out of New York.
Convenience. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who ran for office, those who were victorious, and those who didn't get the results that they worked for. There is nothing more difficult than running for office, and our democracy is better off because of your efforts. We also achieved an important step in our efforts to protect our right to choose in New York. And I want to thank Sasha Ajua for all of her efforts and Donna Lieberman of ACLU for all that they have done to get us to that point. Thank you to all of those who worked so hard to enshrine that right in our Constitution and protected generations to come. I also want to thank New Yorkers for showing up in record numbers to the polls to exercise your most basic and sacred democratic right. And lastly, I congratulate the President-elect Donald Trump. And if possible, we will work with his administration. But we will not compromise our values or our integrity or our principles. We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before. We face this challenge.
Listen to the double talk, and we're going to read between the lines with Letitia James. She said they didn't expect this result, but for months prior to the results, they've been prying and preparing themselves for some type of confrontation with the conservatives. So obviously you wasn't that surprised that you lost because you said you had a contingency. Let's listen to some more of this.
Before. And we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight.
Did you just hear what she said? She said the quiet part out loud. Out loud. She said, "We use the rule of law to fight back." Ain't that what we've been saying? That they weaponize the judicial system. When have you ever heard a politician say to their opponents, "We're going to use the legal system to fight back"? You're not going to fight back with policy, debates. She's telling on herself. Listen to some more.
Back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility. You see, between 2019 and 2021, the Office of the Attorney General took nearly 100 legal actions against the previous Trump administration, including when he.
Now, just think about what she said. In a city like New York, with all that crime rampant, veterans on the street, migrants everywhere, you wasted your time and the taxpayers' money taking out 100+ different legal actions against Donald Trump. Now, your speech today, she's going to try to make a veiled threat. But see, this is how delusional these liberals on the left is. These liberal women on the left say they're going to abstain for relations with men for 4 years in protest against Donald Trump. I say great. Because if you liberal women are abstaining for 4 years, guess what? You won't need late term termination of pregnancies because you won't be getting pregnant. See how that works? Good idea. And if you thought that you were hurting conservative men by abstaining, wrong again. Because conservative men ain't checking for you. So again, you liberals are imploding on yourself. Liberal women are abstaining from relations with liberal men and think they're making conservatives upset. This is how delusional it is. They're cutting their hair and everything. You liberal women, you're not hurting no conservatives by abstaining and going through those things. You're just being annoying. You're showing why it's almost impossible for us to even think at this time in history a woman can run America. You're proving it. So is Letitia James. She is standing there as Attorney General in New York telling the world that she's going to be ready to deal with 86% of the American population, the Trump administration, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, all the black men that walked away from the party, all the Latino men that voted. You ready to stand up against the world when the world has already rejected you. It's crazy. And if it's any man in New York that's going to follow her, man, you're going to follow her to destruction. Nobody. See, you liberals got emboldened because we let y'all say we was uh, Nazis and fascists and we didn't really come at y'all. But you're going to be looking like how Roland Martin was looking when Jamal Bryant caught him in Chicago face to face. All that stuff y'all be texting, y'all need to do that in person. Stop talking. Stop talking. Because all that dog whistling is going to get you in trouble. Let's listen to some more.
Attempted to cap the state and local tax. And when he sought to eliminate funds and grants for law enforcement officers here in the state of New York. We fought to preserve DACA, protect the Affordable Care Act. We fought to prevent a question about citizenship from being on the census.
And I got a question for you liberals that want something so bad to happen to Trump. If something happens to Trump and it comes from the left, what do you think J.D. Vance is going to do? What do you think Tulsi Gabbard is going to do? How you think Elon Musk is going to spend his money? How you think the people in the 83% that voted for Trump, what do you think they're going to do? You know how many times 86 and 13 can go into each other? The 86 will go into 13 as many times as they want. Message. 1386. Over here with the president and the Senate. Y'all over here still with these bourgeoisie, entitled. They have used victimology as a role to entitlement. They have used slights and disrespect as a way to justify them being disrespectful. Well, y'all follow Letitia if y'all want to.
Because we were concerned about the impact of funding, the lack of funding to the state of New York and how it would affect these programs. We beat the Muslim ban. We stopped the dismantling of the United States Postal Service. We challenged anti-LGBTQ plus efforts. We safeguarded key environmental policies, and we protected access to reproductive care, and we protected the right to organize. We worked around the clock to defend these basic rights with our Democratic colleagues across this nation. So as you can see, we know their playbook. We know Project 2025 before it was even published. And we have been working.
Now she's finna lie again in your face. This is why the Democrats lost. This is why she's going to lose as Attorney General if she doesn't go to prison. She knows that Project 2025 was written as a proposal by the Heritage Foundation. Donald Trump had nothing to do with its writing or its inception. He has Project 47. They told you that when he won, it was going to be chaos. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, fell right in line. Because he already know the Democrats betrayed him, and he's going to likely be in prison, and the only person who can pardon him is Trump. Smart move, Eric Adams. Don't follow Letitia. You have a path out of the situation that these Democrats put you in. But I want you to listen to her tough talk about Project. Lady, you already lost. You told us about Project 2025. You said it was Trump's. 83% of the population still voted for him. So at this point, what are you talking about?
Both in my office and with other Democratic AGs across this country to make sure that we would be ready to respond to any attempt to roll back our rights. So here we are.
Now you listen how she threw that out there. She's been networking with other Democratic attorney generals across the country. See, everything they accuse Trump of, that's what they're doing. Only difference is they're so cowardly that they'll never be able to pull it off. Because she's dog whistling. They really in their mind, they think conservatives are scared of them. They think conservatives are scared of them. They think MAGA people are scared of them. They think they can beat MAGA. This gang of DEI hires and inclusive people with rainbow flags and every other type of thing, they think they could stand up to MAGA. That's how delusional it is. But that's a woman's thinking. That's a woman's thinking. She doesn't even realize something that men know. Men know that most men in the military are conservatives. Most police officers are conservative. Most firefighters are conservatives. We know most of the liberals are jokesters like D.O. Hughley and pranksters like P. Diddy and sellouts like Oprah Winfrey and creeps like Tyler Perry. Y'all are going to follow them up against MAGA behind this lady? Really? What happened the last time the Democrats tried to say they was going to stand up against a sitting president? Y'all don't know what happened then, back in 1800s, 1860s. They did the same thing. The Democrats didn't want to let their slaves go. So they challenged Abraham Lincoln because they hated Abraham Lincoln. So who hasn't changed their playbook?
We've studied their platforms. We've identified certain possibilities, fact patterns. We've created contingency plans. So no matter what the next administration...
Okay, let's stop there on her contingency plan. New York sits right by the Atlantic Ocean. Your contingency plan can only be for all of y'all to just jump in the ocean, jump in the lake. Because where you gonna go? New York. The South ain't gonna stand with y'all. The Midwest definitely ain't gonna stand with y'all. California, you way out there by Arizona and Nevada, you gonna get swallowed up. Stop acting like y'all want some smoke. You don't want no smoke. Bow out gracefully. Go away.
Throws at us.
We're
ready. We're ready to respond to their attacks. We're ready to respond to any attempts to cut or eliminate any funding to the great state of New York, as the governor outlined. So despite what has happened on the national stage,
what is New York going to do? What is Letitia James going to do? She already tried everything she could try and failed. What's her next thing? I guess her next thing is just to crash out. Go out in a blaze of glory, huh? I am woman, hear me roar, huh? What she's going to do is she's going to make the heavy hand of authority come down on all the dissenters. And I'm talking about a hierarchy that comes from God. See, the Democrats, where they lost, they went not only against country and the citizens, they went against God with their lecherous, demonic policies. They had Meg the Stallion twerking for us, Little John saying turn up. And then they actually trusted Talib Rashid and the Arabs. They convinced black women that Arab women share some type of bond with them. Why would they? They cover their hair. They cover their faces. They're modest and conservative. Termination of pregnancy is banned in their culture. What make you think they identify with you? See, the worst part about the Democratic Party that I don't like is they play with the mentality and minds of our women folk. They made them think they were something more than they are. They made them think that they had the ability to supersede God, scripture, and the church. They made them think that they could raise sons that wouldn't be out here terrorizing the whole community. See, it's time out. Start telling them the truth. They like to say things. Give them a taste of their own medicine. Tell them what's really happening. Tell them what's really good.
we will continue to stand tall in the face of injustice, revenge, or retribution. We will continue to protect.
As a man, see, that's a woman talking. As a man, revenge, retribution, payback, those are things we admire in men. We admire a man that comes and gets revenge. All the greatest stories about men were about revenge. All the gangster movies is about revenge. All the cowboy movies, all the country is about revenge and retribution. They're so dirty and paranoid that their fear is what's being shown, not their reason. Who would have a reason to get revenge and retribution unless you did something to them?
And our most vulnerable and marginalized amongst us. Because it is my sworn duty and responsibility to lead that fight, working with the governor of this great state, Kathy Hochul. This is not the time to be fearful, New York, but faithful and steadfast, knowing that I, as the Attorney General, along with my entire team, we are guardians of the law, and we are prepared, my friends, to fight back. Thank you.
Wow. So you mean to tell me, New York, y'all not going to respect the rest of the country? Y'all 13% people that voted for Kamala Harris, y'all not going to respect the 83%? Y'all so butthurt that shenanigans didn't work? Your spells and witchcraft didn't work? You all already know that God wasn't on your side. God couldn't be on your side. You ran on late-term termination of pregnancy, the gender reassignment of children, amalgamation, liberalism. You ran on the same things that Sodom and Gomorrah was about. Think about that. You ran on the same policies of Sodom and Gomorrah and thought God was on your side. Let it go. Walk away. Better yet, repent. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit on this Sunday morning. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Support the nonprofit, Detroit's Black Thought and Axe Collective. The Cash App is in the channel description. As always, salute to all the patriots that made this happen. Keep y'all head on the swivel. Salute. Peace.